Hello and welcome to this edition of Spotlighting Our Community, where we highlight the voices and stories of the Mid-North Promise program. With me, as always, is my boss, the best boss in the world, my friend, Kelsey Hambleton. Kelsey, how are you today?
Thank you, Nate. It's always wonderful to be here with you. I am doing great. I'm excited to be here with Erina. I'm excited to learn more about her and for our community to get to learn more about her. So, hi, Erina. We would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe about your time at the museum, and kind of how you came into your current role. We would just love for folks to get to know you a little bit.
Cool. Thank you, Kelsey and Nate. Yes. All right. I'm Erina. I am from the UK, born in Northampton, which is in the middle of England, raised in London. I've lived in the US since 2008. I have two wonderful children, two daughters, who teach me lots of things every day. I think it's something I've learned as I get older that your kids can become your greatest teachers as well. So I'm learning always from them. And I have a fairly eclectic work background. I did a history degree, and it was medieval history, by the way, very specific. And then I worked in journalism and writing and did a lot of teaching work, English as a second language, and loved being able to be alongside people as they start their lives and acquire the skills they need in their lives in their new places. Lots of work with environment. And then I spent a lot of time with my kids because they were little. And so landing in the museum in this role, it sort of happened organically because I'd already come to know the museum by my eldest daughter going to the preschool when there was a preschool, which was really fun and she loved it. And then when our second came along, it closed because the pandemic came. But still visited, still loved it. And it was when I had a friend who was working at the museum said, you should check out, their website and see about jobs. And I was like, oh, I don't know. It seems one of those hard places to like get in. And I tried anyway. I did. And after lots of interviews, I got it. And it's been really, really, really exciting. Lots of different work. The scope is pretty wide. And it's sort of pulled on skills from throughout my life. And yes, I don't know. I have to say, I told you I waffle. So that's pretty much so how I came to be here at the museum.
Very cool. And when you came, it was what, April of 2022, I think,
Yeah.
right? Right around there.
Yeah.
So we are coming up on that, which is wild and
I
crazy
know.
because 2 years sometimes feels like four when you do so much work together.
Yeah.
And Erina, you have done so much work with our community. And when our team talked about you moving into a new role, which we'll talk about, I have a question for you with that. As a family learning navigator and getting to know some of the families which you've done in your previous 2 years in general, but now you're going to be like doing that as a part of your job, which is wonderful. So can you tell us, as a family learning navigator, moving into that space, and getting to know Kelsey and I a little bit in that world and what it looks like, what are you personally looking forward to within the context of moving into that role as family learning navigator?
Yeah, it's a great question. Honestly, I'm so happy and excited to be having this move happen. I've always watched the two of you working with families and getting to know all these names and these people and their stories and the excitement that you have, and it's genuine. It's not like for show, it's real. And I think when my previous work was helping in the community, I got to meet people, but in this role, I actually get to know people. I get to know their names, their stories, where they are in life, how I can be of any use, just being alongside somebody to support them. I think being an immigrant to the US has taught me many things, one of which is how sometimes you can feel incredibly alone, because there is a tendency to grind, grind, grind here. And it doesn't always take into account that sometimes things are way out of your control and you can only rely on yourself. And we're not built like that. That's not human beings. We're social creatures. We need each other. And I don't mean to be cheesy saying community, community, but like in realness, like if you don't have other people, you flounder. Like we are made to be with people alongside us, to give us that leg up or just to hold us. We talk about holding space for people, but like in real term, to be able to be in the families that I now am getting to know in their lives is what I definitely would have wanted. Yeah, essentially, I think that would have been life changing in the different things I've gone through in my life. So I look forward to being for others what I hope my kids will see or I will get to, enjoy. Yeah, essentially, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I want to say something because I know you said, I know it sounds cheesy, and you're right. I think words that get overused within community, you've seen people define community, and you're like, this is not what community is. And so you defining that and coming back to, I think how you've landed that was just absolutely perfect. And the hope that we have in this role is to be a community means we're showing up, we're there, and exactly who you are is going to be just, we're just as excited as you are because we know how well you're going to do, and we're excited for the families to get to know you because we know who you are. You're the real thing, and it's just awesome for the community. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're really excited, Erina. I feel like that's probably pretty clear, but it's so great to get a chance to learn a little bit about your background. I know for a lot of us, our job trajectory is not a straight line, and you're absolutely right. Those skills that you learn at your different jobs and in your different roles, like those tend to be threads that take us all the way through, right? That still end up being useful or that we can pull from. And I think that's a really good reminder that we have these skills that we can fall back on. I would like to ask you, I know you talked a little bit about some stressful situations that you've experienced, like being an immigrant to the country and feeling a little bit disconnected from community. I think I can speak for many of us when I say, like, with the current world events going on that we're navigating as individuals and as community, it's a particularly stressful time. And I know this is an area that you have some knowledge on. So I would love for you to share with us a little bit about maybe how you find helpful things that you find helpful in coping with stress in your life, or like techniques or ideas that you could share with folks. I think that would be so great because it's something that I think many of us are dealing with.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely try. Just to preface, like I am like all of us, just constantly every day trying to navigate through stress because it sort of morphs every day. Like stresses that were there yesterday are not there today. You got something new today. But I sort of have found things sort of I hold on to when things come up. I have some training in herbalism, and so I did a certification for it. And one of the things I learned in that is our connection to nature. And people talk about like being outside and touch a tree kind of thing. And I used to think that was like a bit silly or a bit too like okay, a bit woo woo. But honestly, there is a connection between us. We are living creatures, as is the outside nature world. And what I found is literally like herbal teas for me. Even the process of making tea, and you can use them for different things. You can, to get some energy, to pep up a bit, or just to calm your nerves. We have a nervous system, which with the current affairs everywhere, both on a global scale and then right down microscopically to our lives, it can be so overwhelming. And you're frying your nerves essentially, and plus work and family and bills with inflation, it just and you can't get off this merry-go-round. And so here come plants, and they're just like, we'll support you. And they do, like, and you don't have to be like me and have training, but you could go into your Kroger and go down the tea aisle and find a box of chamomile tea, and they're usually on sale actually. And just doing that every day, what it does is sort of builds up you and protects your system, and they call them adaptogens, and what they do is they just arm you so that your body won't react too strongly to the next stress that comes along. It sort of protects you from what's going to come, because it is going to come. That's just life. So lots of herbs, lots of herbal mixes and blends. I also have decided to like try and wake up a little bit earlier. And when I say a little bit, I mean like 5 minutes earlier, because I do need to sleep. And what I do is I just like lay there sometimes, and it's before my kids come in. They love to just come in and jump on my bed or my head. And I'm like, no, I just need a few minutes before they arrive. And I either meditate or think about something, that I would like something positive, something nice, or just daydream a bit. Um, or I'll exercise, whatever it is, something of my own just before it gets too hectic. and then I begin the day. And I think that has actually really helped. I think if you're working, if you're parenting, wherever you are in life, there's always a demand on your time and your energy. And if you don't sort of like take some of it back for yourself, without a doubt, you're getting depleted. You know, you've got to sort of come back up for yourself. And it's nice, you know. I like my own company as well. It's nice to like have that quiet moment. Um, I do try and meditate. I am fairly disciplined. It's not very long. It's like 10 minutes. My attention span is like it likes to like punctually go through things. And yeah, do something you like. Do something that makes you happy if you can once a day. And it could be really small. But be nice to yourself because the world is tough. Yeah, so be your first friend, I think, is what how I've been able to handle. Therapy taught me that, by the way. Highly recommend it to always, if you can get support. It's really, really helpful. So those are my thoughts on it.
I think those are great recommendations. I think there's also something about what you said reminded me of like um the comfort of ritual. Like
Yeah.
even if it's something small, like a cup of tea, like I light candles in the morning while I'm having my first cup of coffee. And it's just like a habit that I got into that kind
Yeah.
of, it's actually a grief ritual that I started doing that
Mm.
now is just like a part of my morning routine. And it just brings me like a little bit of comfort and a little bit of
Yeah.
calm before I start my day. And, you know, I think a lot of us can find small moments like that to just focus on and kind of maybe give us a breath before starting on our days, which can sometimes be a little bit chaotic.
Yes. Agreed. Absolutely. I think you're right in the comfort in ritual and just I think with things changing constantly every day, knowing there is something that's a constant is helpful to us, you know, to our minds, to just our whole bodies, to know that there is a sort of anchor. You're not going to get swept out to sea. They've got something that you can rely on. And it isn't always big grand things, but it's a little thing. But the little things build up, you know, they add together. So I love the candle thing. That's so nice. I love candles too. I've got my candles, got my teapot that goes off.
See,
Yeah.
you've got all the supplies.
Yeah.
It's perfect and very cozy. And I don't know, cold weather always makes me think of candles.
Right. And that's the thing about winter too. I know a lot of people, there is a lot that comes with winter that people don't like. And I understand, especially after the big cold snap we just had. But I had a friend who taught me that he's an urban farmer and he loves winter. And he'd always say, you know, winter is here to teach us to rest. Like everything is resting, you know, his plants, his crops, everything's gone to sleep, the trees have gone to sleep. Um, we don't because of the society we live in, right? But our bodies want to slow down. They want to like join in the nap, essentially. So like if we can in any which way make it cozy, you know, make it calm, especially all the franticness of the holidays, I think. Like January and February can be kind of downer months, but they could be really good months too. It could be a time where you just sort of like slow down and enjoy the peace and then get ready for spring, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you said so many good things there. I always cling to what I would define as like the simple things because I think the simple things are so easy to move past that
Mm,
like when you just said be nice to yourself. It's like the
mm,
simplest thing you could do if you
yeah.
wish. Just sit there and think about that. But I think even doing that for us, the stress, whether it's good or bad stress, still stress,
Mm,
can totally throw you off and you forget to be with yourself, nice to yourself. So
mm.
even that reminder was really encouraging for me. So I guess you're my
Yay.
family learning navigator as well, Erina. Congrats on that. Um, but no, such good stuff. So many more things there, but that was all very insightful and helpful. And I loved it. Thank you for sharing that. That was
Yeah,
truly
my
tremendous.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Um, well, Kelsey, you have any other questions or Erina, do you have any other things you wish to add that maybe you went past and forgot to share or anything that like spurred in your head just now that you wanted to share with people that you maybe think they should know, or whether that's about, the topic of stress or the topic of just what you're moving into professionally?
I don't think so. I think I know it was sort of brief, but like
No,
just
it was great. I just wanted to give you space in case there was something else.
yeah, no, thank you. No, I would probably say just I think I kind of said it when, like you mentioned, be kind to yourself. Like, and I think I said earlier, find a moment of happiness if you can. I'm constantly learning to do it. People always talk about gratitude, and I'm like, that's so hard. Like sometimes it's just there's so many bad things, and it comes in these huge waves. But even if it's like my youngest who does the funniest impersonations or has so much vim, she's just like, they've you guys have met her, so you know what I'm talking about. And I can be a bit like, wow. But then if I look at her and I'm like, just taking in this moment, yeah, I don't know. I see a moment of happiness in all of these little things. And if you can carry that in your day, and I hope with it as a family navigator, I can do that with the families I'm with, like just to each other. Maybe we can to each other do that. That would be great. So yeah.
I love that. Erina, you're going to
Yeah.
be, as we've said, we're excited. You're excited. This is an exciting time.
Yeah.
We are very genuinely happy that you are able to be with us in this space, and the families that are going to be receiving your friendship and counsel and resource navigation that you'll be doing to help them learn where they're going to be moving. So thank you so much for just, I don't know, challenging us, encouraging us, informing us a little bit about yourself, but also professionally, just like a lot about stress. And when it comes, there's no really stress season. Yes, there can be increases of that, but happens all the time. So how do you do that? I think that was really insightful and helpful. So thank you for sharing that and being with us today, Erina. This has been
My
great.
pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, on behalf of Nate and Erina, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we're looking forward to seeing you all next time.